You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about sports in the state of Michigan? You've got the truth, all right. Can you handle the truth? Find out right now on the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, the show that detects and provides truth, research, and statistics about the Tigers, Lions, Red Wings, Pistons, Wolverines, and Spartans. Subscribe to its YouTube channel at the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast and listen to it in audio form wherever you get your podcasts. Follow it on X, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Michigan_Truth, and like its Facebook page, and follow it on Patreon at patreon.com/Michigan Sports Truth. Also, check out our website, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast.code80x.me, and donate to the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast for Autism on GoFundMe, and know the truth. I'm Taylor Phillips, the hardest and most intelligent Michigan sports detective, and welcome to another episode of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. This podcast consists of hard criticism, non-biased criticism, non-biased information, hard stories, interesting stats, and the reality about all sports teams in the state of Michigan. If fans can't handle it, they'll be doomed to know. What I don't allow on my show: touchy-feely comments, whining, conspiracies, unfunny comedy, overreactions, bullying, harassment, curse talk, solicitation, naive arguments, and propaganda. This podcast is hosted by someone who has autism, created by it as well. That's me, by the way, and is not for entertainment purposes, but rather for educational purposes. The views expressed do not reflect the truth about our teams. So I'm going to go over the rest of the Pistons Cavaliers series, games 5 through 7, a positive Tarik Skubal update. He's quickly healing up, and the Lions 2026-2027 NFL regular season schedule. So the Pistons fell behind 3-2, and then they dominate the second half of Game 6 and pull away with a 115-94 win in Game 6 in Cleveland at Rocket Mortgage Arena. And then they come back home in Game 7. We thought they were going to be prepared to close that game out and move on to the second round, to the Eastern Conference Finals, to take on the Knicks in a rematch from last year's first round finals. But obviously the Pistons were not ready, because they were behind the entire freaking game. And I just don't know what else to say. Cade Cunningham was scoreless in the second half, and he was trying to carry the whole team on his back. Jalen Duren, for most of the playoff series, except Game 6, was a dud, unlike his performances in the regular season. In Game 6, though, he got 15 points and 11 rebounds, but that's been it. Averaging less than 10 points a game. That's not Jalen Duren. So, Tobias Harris mostly stepped up, but he didn't in Game 7. That was one of the key factors in the Game 7 blowout loss, 125-94. The final score being, by the way, just an epic collapse by the Pistons in Game 7. Not the entire series, but just Game 7. It was so vital to their elimination. It's just incompetence. This is not even a learning curve. This is just incompetence, just not willing to face any music whatsoever. They were just too cocky. They're just too lazy. Just too this and that to cover Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, Evan Mobley, Max Strus. Plus, they couldn't shoot accurately. They couldn't shoot at all. So the Cavs are the team instead of the Pistons, moving on to play the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I did want to share a few articles on the Pistons' past, present, and future. First off, forget the Kevin O'Connor show. Both the Cavs and Pistons took very different paths. The Cavaliers made a splash move trading for James Harden, while the Pistons only traded Jane Ivey to the Bulls for Kevin Huerter in a three-team trade. That was it. That's all the Pistons did. So what that tells me, in spite of each team's seeds, 1 and 4, the Cavaliers did what they needed to do, then the Pistons didn't at the trade deadline. And the Pistons did not pick up that big scorer. And if you want to contend for an NBA title legitimately, you need big scorers. You need big scorers. You do. Plus, you need better defenders to help out Jalen Duren. You need better scorers to help out Cade Cunningham. He can't do it all by himself. Jalen Duren can't defend all by himself. Asar Thompson can't defend all by himself. The Pistons are not quite a well-oiled machine. They do have team chemistry, but they just don't have the pieces. They just don't have enough pieces to become that well-oiled machine. And I'm not talking about a learning curve. No. We need to stop with this young player crap, okay? This is the NBA. Whether you get free agency or go through the draft, well, I say you do both. It's part of it. It's the objective. So simple as that. Not much else to it. So with that being said, the Pistons are under contract. Holy cow, there are 11 of them. Cunningham, Robinson, Stewart, Levert, Thompson, Holland, Reed, Sasser, Jenkins, Klitman, Lanier. And Jalen Duren and Tobias Harris are both not listed. Kevin Huerter is also not listed. Duren, Harris, and Huerter are all becoming free agents this offseason, this forthcoming NBA offseason. So Duren is the biggest case. Duren really gelled in the regular season, but just absolutely sputtered in the playoffs. He just didn't quite find himself again. So Tobias Harris made $26.6 million, and the Pistons have to decide if bringing him back near that range makes sense after the playoff exit. He helped during the season, but paying him starter money again would limit what the Pistons can do around Cade Cunningham. So, yeah, that's a hairy situation with Tobias Harris there. Tobias Harris can score points. And he proved that for most of the playoffs until Game 7 when he just absolutely freaking choked. And then Kevin Huerter, a smaller decision, $17.9 million. Poor three-point shooting with the Pistons. A lower salary and in a role that fits his production. Yeah, he should be a reserve. Cade Cunningham is the one piece that sets the team. Jalen, I wanted to take a look at Jalen Duren. Yeah, he's the biggest case. If he gets a projected 5-year, $239 million max contract, his first-year salary would be around $41.2 million per year. Well, or only in 2026, 27. That would change the whole salary structure. So the Pistons have 11 players on the hook on their roster. $135.3 million worth. Wow. They won 60, and they won 60 games because the system worked for 6 months. They lost the second round because the offense didn't have enough answers when the Cavaliers took away the first option. Every decision now has to connect back to Cunningham. If a player gives him spacing, creation, defense, or rim pressure, he has value. If a salary does not help him in a playoff series, the Pistons have to study it. Cunningham is already paid like a franchise player. The next job is building a roster that does not leave him alone when the game slows down. Yeah, that's another good point right there. And then Jalen Duren is the main decision in the summer. There we go. Now we're getting to it. Had a strong regular season, like I pointed out, 19.5 points per game, 10.5 points, 10.5 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, 65% shooting from the field. He was the Pistons' best rebounder, best interior finisher, and main lob threat for 6 months. He gave them real value at center. The playoffs changed the discussion. Duren dropped to 10.2 points per game, 8.5 rebounds a game, and Game 7 made it worse. Jarrett Allen outscored him 23-7 in the Cavaliers' 125-94 win. That is not enough from a center who can now ask for a major contract. That is the problem for the Pistons. If Duren signs a projected 5-year, yeah, they said it again. Fast forwarding, Duren is a very good finisher, but he still needs guards, rolls, seals, and offensive rebounds to score. The Pistons have to decide if that is worth max money. At the right price, keeping Duren makes sense. He is young, productive, and already helped them win 60 games. At a max number, the decision becomes harder. That type of contract would limit what they can do around Cade Cunningham. This is why Duren controls the offseason. The Pistons could keep him and build around him. They can use him in a sign and trade if the price gets too high, or they can keep him and use Robinson, Stewart, Levert, Holland, and picks to chase another scorer. And no, the team does not need a rebuild. That's already out of the question, Horty. It needs a better playoff roster. Yes, right on the money. Duren is good enough to keep, but his next salary has to match his playoff value. That is the question the Pistons have to answer first. So, final thoughts from editor Fran Leva. So the best result would be a lower agreement with Duren, not because he is not valuable, because the Pistons need room to improve. Yeah, so it's not solely based on Duren's playoff performance. No. He's still valuable. He just choked in the playoffs, but he was still valuable in the regular season. He just needs to relocate himself and keep himself consistent through the playoffs from next season on forward. A smaller deal would help them keep the defense and rebounding that made them a 60-win team while still giving them a better chance to chase a trade. That part is important. The Pistons were already connected to the idea of adding a major piece with Lauri Markkanen and Trey Murphy III mentioned as possible targets around their offseason plans. Shams Charania, NBA analyst on ESPN, said he expected the Pistons to be star hunting. Yes. And Markkanen was one of the names discussed as a fit. That hits it right on the nose. These things hit it right on the nose, right on the double bullseye. The Pistons don't need another bench player. Absolutely not. They need scoring presence next to Cunningham, especially in the starting lineup. They need a forward or wing who can get his own points, space the floor, and survive deep playoff possessions. The Game 7 loss to the Cavaliers made that obvious. This is why Duren's contract is so important. If the Pistons pay him at the top of the market, they are basically choosing this core and making future trades more difficult. If they get him on a lower number, they keep more room to move. The Pistons are not far away, but they are also not complete. A number 1 seed losing in the second round cannot return with the same structure and act like the problem was small. No. So Detroit had better stop being freaking lazy. They need Duren at the right price, and they need one serious move for another scorer. That is how this contract sheet can become a real contender's roster. So players, coaches, media, and fans, knock off the lazy attitudes, okay? Just STFU and just take accountability, mentally and physically, please, and financially. So, moving on, 3 Detroit Pistons trade scenarios to land an all-star player this offseason. Zion Williamson gives the Pistons a real second star. A dangerous contract point for the Pistons paying Duren. So Zion Williamson is risky, but the upside is obvious. He averaged 21 points per game, 21 points flat per game, 5.7 rebounds, 3.2 assists while shooting 60% flat from the field in 62 games. He is not a shooter, and that creates spacing questions. Still, his rim pressure is at a different level from Duren's. Zion can attack from the elbow, short roll, transition, and isolation. He can punish switches without needing a lob or a deep seal. That changes the Pistons' half-court offense next to Cunningham. This deal would have to be built as a Jalen Duren sign and trade on his projected 5-year, $239 million contract, max contract. His first-year salary which would land around $41.2 million for next season, will put him close enough to Zion Williams' $42.2 million salary. That's also the main reason for the Pistons to study this move now instead of locking Duren into a massive center contract after a weak playoff run. And yes, it was a weak playoff run. The Pistons had to play 2 7-game series against the 8-seeded Magic and the 4-seeded Cavaliers. They would turn that salary slot into a higher ceiling star. For the Pelicans, this is about moving off the long-term Zion question while still getting a 22-year-old all-star center. Duren is younger, more stable physically, and fits a reset better than keeping Zion without a clear path back to the playoffs. The 2029 first-round pick gives the Pelicans another future asset, and Duren gives them a front court piece they can control for the long term. This trade is not safe for the Pistons. Zion's health history makes it impossible to call safe. But the Pistons are not looking for a safe upgrade. They are looking for a second star who can make defenses react to someone other than Cunningham. Duren is valuable, but his next contract could reduce that value fast. Turning him into Zion before that decision arrives is the kind of aggressive move a 61 team should consider. And then number 2, Lauri Markkanen. Markkanen solves a direct problem. They need another scorer next to Cunningham, and Markkanen is it, obviously. Not another low usage role player, which is a bench player. Not another defender who needs Cunningham to create the shot. They already have Asar Thompson. Markkanen averaged 26.7 points. Yikes. 6.9 rebounds and 2.1 assists while shooting 47.7% from the field, 35.5% from three-point range, and 89.6% from the free throw line. He gives the Pistons a 7-foot forward who can shoot, attack, closeouts, post small defenders, and score without stopping the offense. The key part is that Jalen Duren stays. That changes the trade logic. The Pistons would not be replacing their center. They would be adding a scoring forward over Duren and next to Asar Thompson. That gives the Pistons size and needed spacing across the front court. It also gives Cunningham a real release valve when teams load the strong side, switch late in the clock, or shrink the floor against Duren rules. For the Jazz, this is about salary timing. They went 22-60, Utah did. So there is no strong reason to keep an expensive veteran front court together unless the roster is ready to win, which is not even that's not even close. The Utah Jazz. Markkanen has a $46.1 million salary for next year. Jaren Jackson Jr., a former Michigan State Spartan, by the way, has a $49 million salary. That is $95.1 million total for 2 front court players before Walker Kessler's restricted free agency and before Keontae George's next contract. Kessler is set to become a restricted free agent in 2026. George already has a $6.6 million salary for next season, but his extension decision comes after that. That's why moving Markkanen now makes sense. The Jazz would not be dumping salary for nothing. Tobias Harris would be the salary piece in a sign-in trade. Duncan Robinson gives them shooting and a contract that is only partly guaranteed in 2026-27. Ron Holland gives them a young wing. The 2 first-round picks are the real long-term return. Harris averaged 13.3 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. Robinson averaged 12.2 points and shot 41% flat from three-point range. Holland averaged 8.2 points and 4.0 rebounds in 19.9 minutes. This deal would likely need Harris in a sign-in trade, starting around 25 flat million to 30 flat million. Robinson is at a 16 flat million for next season, with only 2 flat million guaranteed before his guaranteed date. That gives the Pistons enough outgoing salary to build a workable structure, while the Jazz turn 1 large Markkanen salary into Harris, Robinson, Holland, and 2 first-round picks. This is expensive for the Pistons, but it fits the roster. Cunningham stays as the main creator, of course. Duren stays as the center. Markkanen becomes that second scorer. The Pistons would lose wing depth in 2 picks, but they would add the exact offensive piece they missed in the playoffs, a high-volume forward who could score without needing the whole game built for him. And then finally, Kawhi Leonard gives the Pistons the highest playoff ceiling. He averaged 27.9 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 1.9 steals while shooting 50.5% from the field, 38.7 from three-point range, and 89.2% from the free throw line. He is 35 years old next season, and the injury history is well known. But when he plays, he's still one of the best playoff-style wings in the NBA. He can score in isolation, attack switches, play through contact, and defend strong wings without needing help on every drive. That is another one of those players that the Pistons didn't have in the playoffs. Cade Cunningham had to create too much. Yeah, like I said, he was carrying the entire team on his back. The offense became too dependent on his pace, his reads, and his shot making. Leonard would change that. He can take the hardest half-court possessions. He can score from the elbows. He can post smaller defenders. He can make pull-up jumpers. He'd be the release valve the Pistons needed during the entire postseason, especially for Cade Cunningham. The fit is simple. Cunningham stays as the main ball handler. He just needs to dribble the ball more carefully. Leonard becomes the second scorer and the big wing defender. Jalen Duren stays as the center. Asar Thompson can guard up or down depending on matchups. The Pistons would not become faster, but they would become harder to guard in a series. Cunningham and Leonard would give them 2 big shot creators, and both can play with the ball or away from it. For the Clippers, this is a timing move. They finished 42-40, 9th in the Western Conference, a play-in tournament spot, in other words, and lost 126-121 to the Warriors in the play-in tournament. Leonard is entering the final guaranteed year of his deal at $50.3 million. ESPN also reported that the Warriors were among the teams that called the Clippers about Leonard's availability after the James Harden trade, with the possibility that those talks could return in the offseason. That does not mean the Clippers are shopping him. It means the league already sees the situation as worth monitoring. Tobias Harris would give the Clippers a veteran forward in a sign and trade. Duncan Robinson gives them shooting and a contract they can control before the full guaranteed date. Ron Holland Jr. gives them a young wing. The 2029 first-round pick gives them future value without asking the Pistons to move Duren. This structure would send Harris in a sign and trade around 25 flat million, Robinson at 16 flat million, and Holland at 9.1 million. That gives the outgoing salary at $50.1 million. This is not a long window trade. It is a title window trade. Leonard has 1 year left before unrestricted free agency in 2027. That's next year, and the Pistons would need to be comfortable with a medical risk. But the basketball case is strong. The Pistons already have depth, size, defense, and a franchise guard. That's Cade Cunningham. What they need is another elite half-court scorer. Leonard gives them that without moving Duren. That is why the trade belongs on the board. So out of the 3, I'd pick 2. I pick either one or 2. Either one of the 2, Markkanen or Leonard. Which one do you want? Let me know in the comments or in the live chat, whichever. And then the Three biggest questions for the Pistons. Should Jalen Duren be offered a max contract? No. What to do with Tobias Harris? That's a tough one. And then Asar Thompson. Can Asar Thompson, Dennis Jenkins make a jump? I think they can. I see them doing so in my crystal ball. These three Pistons won't be back after Detroit falls short of the Eastern Conference Finals. Kevin Huerter. So 40.2% from the arc, from behind the arc, torching teams with a smart shoot pass decision making, coming off curls and dribble handoffs with Domantas Sabonis. Since that season, his 3-point percent shooting has plummeted all the way down to 29.4% in 25 games with the Pistons. And then Tobias Harris. He's an unrestricted free agent. Provided points in most of the playoff run, but just flat out shut down in Game 7. And then Karis LeVert. Yeah, he's not good enough on this roster. I'm sorry. Just a 41.7% shooting percentage, 33% from three. Did average 13.8 points and 5 assists per 36 minutes. So those are all the articles that you need to know. So any comments, any questions? That's the last installment of the playoffs edition of the Pistons Post. Now for the Tigers Tribune developing update. Starting pitcher Tarik Skubal is throwing a bullpen session, one or more, and he's throwing on the mound. His elbow is getting a lot better, a lot sooner than everybody anticipated. Wow. But that doesn't mean that that the Tigers are going to be World Series contenders, because you know something? Let me turn on my screen share before I forget. Let's take a look at the other pitching before we get to this awful offense. Framber Valdez, he got rocked again tonight at home against the Cleveland Guardians. His ERA is right now 4.58, 2-3 after tonight's 8-2 loss, 140 whip. And they signed him to a contract. That's just stupid. Stupid. Average Dylan Dingler averaged 247, 790 OPS. Decent, but not quite good enough. Not quite good enough for me. Jake Rogers, yeah, let's get to him. 146 average, 457 OPS. Jeez, oh Pete. Those are terrible. Colt Keith. Let's take a look at him. 293 average, that's good, but a 686 average, or 686 OPS. That tells you Colt Keith only hits singles as a single hitter. We already know Kevin McGonigal's good. Look at Zach McKinstry, though. 173 average, 486 OPS. Trash. I'll take a look at Kevin McGonigal anyway. .291 average, .815 OPS. It's dropping a little bit, but those numbers are still very good. Zach Short, 000 average right here, 267 OPS. Zach Short has done nothing but walk all over the place. 0 freaking hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a run scored. That's it in 11 at bats. What a piece of crap. They signed him to a second MLB contract. What are you doing, Scott Harris and Jeff Greenberg? What are you guys doing? Spencer Torkelson, 191 average, 671 OPS. Gleyber Torres coming off the IL soon, 259 average, 717 OPS average. Gage Workman starting to vastly decline, 217 average, 782 at OPS. Now Riley Green is a machine, is the green machine. 327 average, 907 OPS. Those are really good. That's Riley Green for you. Parker Meadows, 60-day injured list. 250 average, 641 OPS. A slight improvement. Not quite there yet. Not quite great yet. Wencel Perez, he's declining. 163 average. 457 average. 457 OPS. That's trash. Matt Vierling. Average as usual. 211 average. 676 OPS. Jahmai Jones. 192 average, 582 OPS. Kerry Carpenter, 10-day injured list, but coming back soon. 216 average, 750 OPS. His OPS is decent, but his average, just average. And that's all I've got. That's all I've got. How you, Lee? Please. 196 average, 588 OPS. Nope, I'm not going to accept that. Javier Baez on the 10-day injured list. He should be coming back soon, but 256 average, 677 OPS. Javier Baez has been stagnant his entire tenure as a Tiger. The relief pitchers. Tyler Holton, who has sucked, 0-2 record, 450 ERA, 165 whip. Yeah, he sucks. Jack Flaherty, he sucks too. 0-5 record, 577 ERA, 160 whip. Yeah, he totally sucks. Both Holton and Flaherty are dog crap. Ugh. Drew Anderson, 1-1 record, but a 467 ERA, 133 whip. No. Not going to accept that. Get that out of here. Kyle Finnegan, 166 ERA, 1-0 record, but a 148 whip. His ERA is good, but his whip isn't. Brant Herter, 318 ERA, 4-1 record, 106 whip. His whip is good, but his ERA average. Ty Madden, 238 ERA, 079 whip, but 15-day injured list. Kyler Montero, 2-3, 365 ERA, 099 whip. Whip is good. Whip is excellent. ERA, not so much. It's average. Connor Seabold, 307 ERA, 1-0 record, 130 whip. Decent or average. ERA is average. Well, maybe a little bit above average, I guess. Birch Smith, 293 ERA, 137 whip. Not too terrible. 0-2 record, though. Ricky Vanasco, minor leagues. Yeah, he deserved it. 1454 ERA, 323 whip. Yeah, he's a little leaguer. Will Vest, 1-3, 617 ERA, 146 whip. Kenley Jansen, 1-2, 365 ERA, average, but a great 105 whip. That's pretty much it. But Brennan Hannafy, before he was back down, 0-0, 193 ERA, 107 whip. He's been good. Bo Brisky, 60-day injured list. He has not played. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this Tigers roster. All the stats. So but that's the Tigers Tribune developing update. Starting pitcher Tarik Skubal throwing bullpen sessions and throwing on the mound. His return should be soon, I guess. Now for the Lions Lowdown off-season edition. The Lions 2026-27 NFL regular season schedule has been published. So let's take a look at that on the share screen. Schedule. I don't need notifications. Thank you very much. Preseason at Cincinnati Bengals, home against the Washington Commanders, at Indianapolis Colts, home against the New Orleans Saints, and then at Buffalo Bills on Prime Video Thursday at 8:15. And then week 3, Sunday against the butt-fumbled New York Jets. Week 4, Sunday at the Carolina Panthers on NBC. Sunday at Arizona on Fox, 4:25. Week 6 is their bye week, kind of an early bye week. Week 7 at home, Sunday, October 25th at 4:25 against the Green Bay Packers on Fox. Lions are looking for some revenge. Week 8, the day after Halloween, Sunday, November 1st, against the Minnesota Vikings on Fox. Lions are looking for revenge against them. Week 9, Sunday, November 8th at 1 on Fox at the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium. Sunday, November 15th at 9:30 a.m. That's in Germany, FC Bayern Munich Stadium against the New England Patriots. Sunday, November 22nd at 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on CBS at Ford Field. Then the Thanksgiving game against the Bears at 1 on November 26th. And then Sunday, December 6th at the Atlanta Falcons on CBS at 1. Week 4, Sunday, December 13th at 1 on Fox against the Tennessee Titans. Week 15, Sunday at 8:20 on NBC Sunday Night Football at US Bank Stadium against the Minnesota Vikings. Week 16, Monday on ESPN Monday Night Football against the New York Giants, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. And then week 17 at Soldier Field, Sunday, January 3rd, 2027, at the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson. And then week 18 at the Green Bay Packers, to be determined at Lambeau Field. So let me know your predictions in the comments and live chat. Please and thanks. So, what did we learn? Well, the Pistons just didn't have an elite playoff roster to finish their playoff run. Not even close. Cade Cunningham was trying to carry the entire team on his back. Jalen Duren had a successful regular season, but not so successful playoff run. And Duren's contract value has to be lowered in order to make room, but that's not on Duren. That's on the entire Pistons payroll. Trajan Langdon, their president and general manager, should be looking at that. Also, they need a second elite scorer, either Lauri Markkanen or Kawhi Leonard. Which one do you want? Leave a comment in the live chat or in the comment section. Also, the Tigers, they get Tarik Skubal back soon, but that doesn't help the fact that their offense is still crap, as you would know. And then the Lions finally get their regular season. They play the Bills at the beautiful, stunning new Highmark Stadium. They play the Patriots in Germany. Everything else, that's pretty much it. So that's everything we've learned in this episode of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. I'm Taylor Phillips. Subscribe to its YouTube channel at the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. Like its videos and turn on all notifications on the bell icon. Click or tap on live to find its latest full episodes and check out its shorts, videos, and posts in the community. Also, watch it live and follow it on Twitch at Michigan Sports Truth. Listen to it in audio format on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music / Audible, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and Gio7. Also, join its supporters club on Spreaker, just $2 a month. On social media, follow the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast on X, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Michigan_Truth, and on Reddit at u/Michigan Sports Truth at u/Michigan_Truth. Also, like its Facebook page, facebook.com/Michigan Sports Truth. And on Patreon, patreon.com/Michigan Sports Truth. Give that a follow. And check out the website, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, code ADX.me. And finally, donate to the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast for Autism on GoFundMe. The goal is $2,400. Until the next episode, stay on the lookout and just understand that I observe and detect the truth about sports in the state of Michigan, only for fans' own good and education, because the Michigan Sports Truth is out there. Ta-ta for now. Hit them with the hind, power to the people. Baba Booey to y'all. Stay safe, everyone. Stay wise. High-speed internet service provided by Cherry Capital Communications in Elk Rapids. Visual wardrobe props provided by Creative Embroidery of Cadillac. Statewide business endorsements go to Fox Motors, Great Lakes Art, Michigan Rustic Properties, Grand Traverse Pie Company, J&H Family Stores, Positive Chimney and Fireplace, Farm Bureau Insurance, Michigan's Adventure, Alpine Chocolate House in Manistee, Boyne City, Gaylord, Plymouth, and Sault Ste. Marie, Hudsonville Ice Cream, Grandpa's Mini Donuts, Rally House Michigan and Rally House Detroit, Tom's Food Markets, Beacon and Bridge, Fago Soda, Detroit Wing Company, Simply Delightful, JR's All-Star Haircuts for Men, Tropical Touch Spa, Main Street Rocks, G's Pizzeria, Wesco, 7 Brew Coffee, Gardner White Furniture, and BC Pizza. Metro Detroit area business endorsements go to the Annex Detroit Nightclub and its Annex Angels, Vibes Southfield, A&S Detailing in Troy, State Fair Supermarket in Ferndale, Stepping Stone Wellness Center in Plymouth, Play Sports Club Detroit, Buscemi's Party Shop in Waterford Township, the Vanguard Hotel in Ann Arbor, Realtors Kevin S. Bentley and Lindsay Gorman, Sean O'Callaghan's Public House in Plymouth, Gino Surf, Avenue American Bistro, Mochi Nut Donut and Boba, Ostre Detroit, Peak Exterior Care, the Edo Ramen House in Southfield, the Great Lakes Crossing Mall in Auburn Hills, Empire of Detroit, Modern 7 Bistro, Northville Sports Den, the Union Barber Shop in Birmingham and Ferndale, United Mobile Power Wash and Dry Ice Works in Southfield, Frothy Girl in Ortonville, Spot Truck in Dearborn and Detroit, Athletico Physical Therapy on Woodward Street in Ferndale, Detroit Pizza Company, The Blind Owl in Royal Oak, Brass Rail Detroit. Cali Tickets, call 877-225-8425 or visit CaliTickets.com. Reliance Pressure Washing, The Jagged Fork, Goodman Acker PC, Northwestern Technological Institute, Green Lantern Pizza, The Pins Bowling Center in South Lyon, Impact North in Ortonville, Vitamin Shop in Auburn Hills, Legacy Family Dental Center in Dearborn, 350 Terrace, and Hodges Subaru. Local business endorsements go to Cherry Capital Communications in Elk Rapids, Boyne and beyond, Morris Richardson Real Estate in West Branch, Little Dipper Cottage Northport, K&L Creations in Manton, Upriver Pizza in Benzonia, Glen Arbor Construction, Freshwater Auto Spa in Kalkaska, Kingsley Lumber, Boyne Golf, The Outsider in Manistee, the Silver Dollar Pub and Grill in Roscommon, Toy Town of Cadillac and Reed City, the Landing Zone in Gaylord, the VI Grill in Suttons Bay, West Michigan Massage Therapist Emmeline. Visit ZenWim.com. The B4 Foundation in Ithaca, Wexford Community Credit Union in Cadillac and Lake City, J Sporting Goods in Gaylord and Clare, the Front Porch in Suttons Bay, Trout Town Tavern and Eatery in Kalkaska, the El Cilantro Taco Shop in Petoskey, Bay Mills Resort and Casino in Brindley, Fuel Up Nutrition in Clare, J&S Hamburg in Traverse City and Kingsley, United Food Service Solutions in Grand Ledge, Friendly Foodies in Alpena, the Asian Buffet in Cadillac and Traverse City, Luddington Meat Company, McBain Hardware, Vandry Home Furnishings in Cadillac, Houghton Lake, Big Rapids, and Traverse City, Pearl's New Orleans Kitchen in Elk Rapids, Rogers Food Center in Lake City, Everett, and Reed City, Herman Hiss and Company in Bay City, Fletcher's Pub and Texas Corners in Kalamazoo, the Michigan Theater of Jackson, Hooters in Saginaw, Anna's House in Grand Rapids, Coffee Beanery in Flushing, Merritt Speedway, Northport Pub and Grill, Northern Logistics, and Spicer's Boat City in Houghton Lake. Traverse City business endorsements go to Honest Eyes Optical, Pop Excavating, Highland and Harbor, Northern Lakes Cleaning and Home Services, Suzek's Smoke Shack, Northern Trillium Company, Northwoods LG Barbecue, Downtown Vacation Rentals, Vautrubel Leather, Rovi Grill in Dearborn, Old Mission Culture Company, Archer Contracting, Intrepid Cycling, Moomer's Homemade Ice Cream, TC Man Cave, K1 Speed, Play It Again Sports, Erica Nita of Traverse City Real Estate, Yen Yoga and Fitness inside the Delamar Resort on Front Street, Firefly Kitchen and Bars, Traverse City Fun Running, Bergstrom's Burgers, Margarita's Grill, Wellbeing with Catherine Palms, Traverse City Comfort Advisor by Comfort Center, Bayview Flooring, North Coast Golf Shop, Dockside Market, Anna Very Fine Foods, and Team Bob's Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Cadillac business endorsements go to Cadillac Grill, Cadillac Nutrition, Cadillac Horizon Books, Cadillac Java, Pine Grove Recreation Center, Creative Embroidery, Michigan Coffee Company, Shaley Bear Creations, Pro Quality Cleaners, Raven Social, Wildflower Bakery, Northern Star Event Rentals, Primo's Barbecue, Wexford Jewelers, Evolve Yoga and Fitness, Chunky Bear Coffee Roasters, The Truck Stop, Cadillac Lofts Apartments, Bigelow Supply, The Food Mafia's Let's Roll With It Rolled Ice Cream, Evergreen Resort with Curly's Bar and Grill, Tees Tanning Salon, 5-star real estate agent Stacy Zirkle, The Pine Sports Bar and Bowling Center, Pizza Plus, Chico's Taco House, Baldwin Family Healthcare, Blue Heron Cafe, The House of Hunan, Wexford Senior Care Center, Max Swings Indoor Golf, Beaner's Pizza, Cabernet Peaks, Burke's Waterfront Restaurant, the Cadillac Party Lounge, and the Sweet Shop. Lake City business endorsements go to Cuts by Melanie, Tasty Treat, Lake City Log House, the Pearson Agency, the LC Tap House, Hutchinson Septic and Excavating, the Coffee Cup, It's a Denise Jewelry, To the Moon Bakery, Northern Auto Lab, Hammer's Pub and Grub, Shoreline Cafe, Rustic Hog Barbecue, Pancho Villa Mexican Grill, the AL Trading Post, and the Misaki Golf Club Golf Course.